Rachel, why do we give people the banded row?
We give the people the banded row because our environment sets us up to fail. Every single day with all these modern technologies, it all takes us completely forward. So our body gets into this position, and it's like muscle memory. If we're in this position for long periods of time, it will essentially stay like that. So then when we go to do our everyday movements, we're doing it from this position versus finding the stable position our body was meant to be in.
So is that an easy thing for every patient to pick up?
It's definitely not easy for all patients. It definitely comes easier to some. It all depends on the amount of time that you have been in that bad postural position. With the treatment of joints, muscles, and movements, it takes a very unnatural type posture that you're in, and then this feeling unnatural to those, to making that feel very natural and making everything else you do during your everyday life a lot easier. Jared, the banded row is really important for all patients that walk in here, but how important is it for athletes?
Well, it's the exact same thing that you were talking about before, is getting out of the world that puts us into this position. It's something that sets up our thoracic spine and our scapula, our shoulder blades to be nice and stable, pretty much all the movements that we do. So we talk about that $2 million position of rolling back and down and being able to stabilize in between our shoulder blades and all the way through our torso. When you think about athletic performance, if you think about just weight training or anything like that, that happens in pretty much every position that we go into. So setting that baseline position of the banded row is absolutely critical, so we can transition that into so many of
at doing the banded row or don't understand the concept of why we do the banded row. Does that catch up to you eventually as an athlete?
Absolutely. We kind of have that saying, or some other real good doctors have put it together in saying that compensations work until they don't. And so that's kind of the essence of it. If you're, a lot of times good athletes are good athletes for a long time, and then all of a sudden they plateau, they stop getting better, they stop getting hurt. It's generally because of a baseline concept that they're missing. And this banded row, that nice stability between the shoulder blades is something that crops up in a lot of recreational athletes and a lot of CrossFit athletes, a lot of overhead athletes. All of those people not being able to stabilize really well in between their shoulder blades, it's gonna catch up with you at some point in time. The flip side of that coin is if you get it figured out, it's really hard to get hurt. So it's absolutely critical, and if you don't understand that concept, it's only a matter of time before things